Might be a little bit crazy, buddy. You think?
Oh,
Well, looks like I'm live. I didn't expect anyone to be here because this
oh,
was just
man.
out of the blue. It's funny that that video just came out today, and it reminded me that I wanted to get all my equipment set up again. And so I thought I didn't put a lot of work into it. I just wanted to check and make sure everything's up and running. And so that's what this is about. Again, I see nobody's on here yet, which is not a surprise. Hopefully this is public. Well, okay, there's a person, and I saw a heart go by, so maybe somebody's in here. So anyway, again, it's just I wanted to do a test run because keep in mind if you saw my video that came out this morning, and I was talking about, hey guys, hey, or at least the one person, Tristan, hello. Anyway, like I said, the video that came out this morning was shot like 6 weeks ago. And even since that video, there's been another schedule change. Now, I do have a grandson here. He's sitting right next to me. And I think he's just going to sit here. I don't plan on staying on here long. He might be pretty much quiet for now. This won't be the norm. And I want to just make sure everything's working. Let me know if you can hear me fine. Want to make sure my mic is working and that you guys can see me okay. Trying something a little different on my lighting too. So I'm going to be doing a little playing around. And hopefully I can get back into a little bit more set schedule for my lives since, like I said, since I shot that video 6 weeks ago that just published on my main channel. I'm like, oh yeah. So generally speaking, most Fridays now, I will not have any grandbabies. I will on Sundays. So Sundays, for the most part, will be out for live shows. Today, since I'm just doing a test run, I have 2 more grandbabies coming in a little while. So definitely don't like doing it when there's a bunch here because then it gets really chaotic and wild and noisy and about pointless. Oh, yeah, they can be delayed. I just wanna make sure everybody can hear fine. That's, and that, everything's up and working because it's been a few months since I have done a live show, and this computer right here is the one that I use for that, and so it's been shut down a few months. So I'm like, "Oh my goodness, if I'm going to do this, I better go get that, make sure that computer's done all its updates and all that crazy junk so I can make sure everything is working if I do decide like it's very unlikely it will happen this Friday because the other thing that's changing is that because of that schedule, that means I'll be having to shoot 2 to 3 videos on Friday alone to make it work. And so then a lot of the other part that comes into play is will my vocal cords and the nodules that are thereon be able to handle shooting 3 videos and then doing a live show as well? I mean, and it's not even that I have to do live shows for 2 hours. Sometimes they just end up being 2 hours because we get on here and we start chit-chatting and joking around, especially when Tyler shows up and he starts putting his 2 cents in on everything, then it does get a little bit crazy. Jace is here with his little guy, whatever it is. It's so cute. I think it looks like a koala, but it's not a koala. It's some sea creature. Marlene I don't know if she told me the name of it, if she remembered. I don't remember what it was. But apparently it's a rather ugly sea creature. But this little guy's cute. And he's cuddly and soft. He likes it when I go, "Oh, he's so soft and cuddly." And it usually makes him smile. Huh, buddy? Yeah. So we're just hanging out right now, and all my video editing for the time being is done. And then tomorrow morning, Wednesday mornings, I'll still be shooting my this and that videos, but I have to, or video, you know. And if by chance I can squeeze in one more on Wednesdays, that would save me having to do so much on Friday, but, it's just gonna depend because I gotta get up I get up early anyway, like, I've been awake since 2. Normally, I wake up about 3 to 4 o'clock and then get going, and then if I can get my videos done, at least shot before grandbabies show up, I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, excuse me. Already got some junk going on in there. Oxalot. Oxalot? That sounds familiar. Um, or spelt. Well, spelt is a grain. Oxalot sounds familiar. I might have to look that up because I was wanting to look it up to see what it was. So, and then what was the other thing? I was going to say there was something else in regards to channel updatey stuff that, has happened even since that the video that published this morning. Well, one being I'm actually going to talk about this in the this and that I shoot tomorrow for Monday, next Monday, is that Rumble is now doing shorts. They're allowing shorts there, which it's actually now that they finally got their short platform set up there for those who like those, it is a better place for shorts. And here's why. YouTube does not allow clickable links in shorts. I do not understand it. So if I post a short on this channel, especially, I can't even link it on the screen to a full-length video from my other channel. I can put the link in the description box, and the best people can do is copy and paste. And I just don't understand it. But on Rumble, everything in there is a clickable link. It is actually easier. So, yeah, so I'm starting to put my shorts over there as well. So this channel here, Rain Country 2, also known as Rain Country Live, I originally started as a backup channel just to see if there was, just in case my main channel just goes totally kaput because I didn't know what was going on at the time. Well, then I converted it to be my live show channel, but then I had to quit doing that for a few months for several reasons. There was a lot going on. And after that last time when they YouTube cut me off like 3 or 4 times, I was like, that's it. And I never was able to finish the topics I was trying to cover. And I was so angry because then I had to go just shoot those videos separately, putting even more wear and tear on my vocal cords. So, and taking even more time. That was so irritating. So, I was fed up too. So the stress of that just was like, I just don't even want to have to deal with that right now with everything else going on, things I'm preparing for, because we're preparing for Feast of Tabernacles and then Thanksgiving and et cetera, et cetera. And then just the constant having to rearrange my schedule. And I got tired of fighting YouTube. So that's another thing I'm curious to see if possibly may have gotten better on YouTube. And if not, the other option I've considered is since my Patreon is open and free to everyone, I thought, well, I could try streaming on Patreon and then taking the videos from there if I can download them like I can from YouTube, and then taking those and turning them into, well, I can live stream on Rumble as well. But anyway, taking those and then turning them into standalone, shrinking them down into 2 or 3 smaller videos and putting them on the main channel. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm just playing around, and that's why I just came on spontaneously. I had no plans to come on here. I'm wearing my scrubby work clothes, around the house work clothes. Usually I try to put on something nicer. I did actually go change out of my other work t-shirt because this one looks a little better than the other one I had on. And didn't do anything with my hair, but just like I always do on normal work around the house days. And let's see, what else? It seems like there's some other stuff I was gonna tell you guys about that I'll probably talk about in my this and that anyway, but now I'm drawing a blank. So anyway, it's good to see some people were able to drop in anyway. And like I said, I don't plan on staying long. I can tell just by the way I sound and the way my throat feels right now that my vocal cords probably aren't gonna hold up too well today. At least when I'm shooting standalone videos, I can take breaks as I need to. It's easier to do on those and then edit out stuff. Can't really do that on a live unless I download it and then re-edit and re-upload. So, the unfortunate thing though about my live shows either way, though I may not go on this early when I start doing them again on a more regular basis on Fridays. It would still have to be during the day. It's just the way I gotta do it, to be able to work it into the other things that I do around here. So that whole prioritization and scheduling is important. So let's see what else. It seemed like there were some other updates I could throw at you. I didn't write down any notes like I normally would for something like this. I just am like, I want to do a test run before I plan on doing like a set scheduled video with the, notes and topics and whatnot. And yeah, just want to make sure it's all working. So yeah, anyway, so Stephanie and CRR Bennett and Living Life and Cherry 19720. What do we got here? The Feral Farm Girl. You are braver than I am. The January update bricks computers. I am afraid to turn mine on until they actually fix the update. Yeah, I don't even know. I have to do what I have to do. And if I don't, there's work I got to get done. And this computer's been sitting for months without any kind of update. Okay. Here's my personal crazy talk. An ocelot? No, I don't think isn't an ocelot a type of cat? It's not a cat, it's a sea creature. I don't know of felines that are sea creatures. So yeah, an ocelot is I can picture it. It's kind of a spotty type creature, similar to like a jaguar or a leopard, but the markings are different. Anyway, it just seems views and chats. Okay, yeah, I read that. Okay. But yeah, hi T. But yeah, I got to get stuff done. And okay, what I was going to say. I get sidetracked and then forget what I was going to say. This happens all the time. See, this is what you would have to put up with if you visited with me in real life. I'll start talking about something and then I'll get sidetracked right in the middle of a doggone sentence and start talking about something completely different. I'm terrible at that. So, and those who watch me live will know that. So now I forgot again. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. The updates. Stay on topic. I really think a lot of these updates, I think that every time they update and they, you can't use your computer unless you do all these updates, right? Because eventually it gets slower and slower and it stops working. Everything gets glitchy. So you have to break down and go ahead and do the updates. But then, Jason's getting his head in there. You see grandma in there? Is that grandma? Grandma. So I honestly think they also install garbage that makes you so that you have to get a new computer, within 2 years. I really think this. I've thought this for years because it seems to me that computers should last a lot longer than that. I usually stretch them out longer than that. I do a lot of disk cleans and various different things that can see. Showing down here, it looks like I do have another update I got to do, which doesn't surprise me. I'm thinking surely there had to be more than just one update. So that'll probably be the one that messes it up. But I'll make sure everything works before I try to do a live show. But yeah, if you can keep your planned obsolescence, absolutely. Absolutely. See, my husband says my nickname should be Sidetrack. Hey, we have something in common. We're sisters. But yeah, I really think they do because it seems like, yeah, some stuff might work a little better for a while, But then other stuff gets worse, and it's like, I know these things can last longer than that with proper care. I mean, I remember our first no, it wasn't our first desktop, it was our second desktop, and it was Sony. It was a great computer, and I stretched that thing out. I actually did 2 full, what do you call it? I wanna say rebuilds, where I took it clear back to factory conditions and basically rebuilt the computer, installing everything from scratch. And that took a care of a lot of problems when I do that, but they don't make computers now. At least, we've only had laptops for a while because just because of the way things work for us. My kids keep saying, well, my youngest son especially, "You really need to get yourself a desktop." But it's like, the laptop thing works better for me, generally speaking, because of space, et cetera, and I can move it wherever I want to. But it just seems like they don't make it anymore where you can easily rebuild your computer on your own. And I wasn't a computer whiz. I learned a lot of stuff on my own. Now my brother is. He worked for Stars and the History Channel. He did a lot of computer graphics for them, and he's met famous people as a result, but he's definitely the computer whiz and has actually built basically from scratch several of his own computers. But, I did get a little help from him the first time I had to do a complete wipe of my computer and start over because it was some kinda virus had got in there, attacked the antivirus, program I had on there, so it wiped that out and then installed its own thing, and then nothing worked right, but I was able to fix my computer without paying anyone else to do it. But it was scary, and it was frustrating, and it was a long process. But, yeah, I just don't even think it's that easy. Oh, the system restore, that was something you used to be able to do. I used to do a lot of system restores when things went glitchy. "Okay, another system restore because this update or that thing screwed up my computer. Go back to this date here when I know it was working right. Everything was fine." Can't do that anymore either. It's really frustrating. So, they kind of force you, "Don't touch that stuff, buddy, okay? I really don't want you to touch that stuff." He's banging on the table, so sorry if it's a little noisy. Hey, hey. This is why I don't really wanna do lives when I have grandbabies here, but generally speaking, he's behaving pretty good. "You wanna go play pool?" "Mm, no?" "Okay." Um, so yeah. Anyway, what's that? Is that your baby? Is that your little baby? Your little guy? They do. And, it's really all about money for somebody, be it the, computer fix it guys, I think mostly for Microsoft or whoever, you know, but, we won't get into that topic right now because things could get a little too political, and I try to avoid that kind of stuff for the most part on my channel, for the most part. So, there's so much I could say right now, but zip. Here's something I've been getting into again is, it has to do with a natural remedies or natural healing testimonies that I recently read and recorded. It's not gonna publish for quite a few weeks yet, but it will be part 24 in the series. And this lady was sharing a really interesting testimony about nori. Well, I love nori, but I always forget I have it. I had stocked up on I am live. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I just popped in here. Actually, so yeah, I got on here to test out the equipment and stuff since I'm planning on doing lives again at least once a month because I've since this, I mean, some people are coming in, they didn't hear the intro. If you were here from the beginning, sorry, you're gonna hear it again. Because since the video that published this morning, there's been yet another schedule change. And it looks like my Fridays will be freed up, not my Wednesdays. I have a grandbaby here right now, but Fridays, most of the time, I will not have grandbabies, so I might be able to do lives on Fridays. And, if nothing else, just for fun, because I tell you, I keep thinking, especially when I see some of the regulars commenting, that would come into the live and we give each other a hard time, especially Tammy. We're always giving each other a hard time, and some of the just funny stuff, and then Tyler, of course, Tyler coming in. Um, so anyway, the nori thing. So I'm gonna be doing a video on the benefits of nori, and I'm pretty excited to talk about it because that testimony I read was like, "Oh, I forgot I had this stuff. I bought it all for a reason, and then I just forgot about it." So one of the things I'm doing is, at least right now, making a couple of using the nori like a roll like you would, but not necessarily making a sushi like a California roll, just taking that and putting like even if it's just cream cheese, spreading a little cream cheese on there and rolling it up and eating it, or taking some leftover steak, chopping it up, maybe putting a couple thin pieces of cheddar and some cut up bell peppers in there and rolling that up, and good stuff. It's a really yummy way and healthy way that I can get that nori and all the great minerals that are in there because, to be honest, eventually I'm gonna do a video on this. Again, I actually did one a few years ago, back in 2021 or 2022, that I only published on Rumble, but I'm gonna do another video on this because it has to do with something that, some health issues I've been dealing with for the past few years that started in 2021. So, I get better and then I go back to square one. I get better and I go back to square one, and it will be kind of long and extensive, and I got some more information I need to pull together, but also I want to be able to share how some of the different things I've been doing with my diet again, um, like the nori, the turkey tail mushroom, and how these things are helping me. And so I'm hoping that this isn't okay. I'm on a high plateau. I'm feeling a lot better now, and that I'm hoping that these things that I'm doing are actually gonna be something that will keep me up here rather than tomorrow have a another bam down to the bottom. But I will say this, it's something that has caused my it used to be I taught dance. So a lot of you know I taught ballet and a little bit of other styles of dance thrown in there to kids of all ages, well, from 3 on up, and I taught martial arts. But especially in the dance, I get a lot of these little girls that would come in with colds and all kinds of stuff. A lot of times they like to, had slobber on their hands or whatever, and I'm grabbing their hands to help them learn how to do a step. I was exposed to garbage all the time and almost never got sick. Ever since 2021, ever since getting the big scary that virus, right? Now it seems like not every time, but most of the time, one of my grandbabies brings something over. I catch it just like that. Now it could be part of the difference too is, well, I am older and I am closer to my grandbabies. We're hugging and all that a lot more, so that could be part of the difference. But I know that my immune system isn't what it once used to be because of what I've been dealing with. Yep, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Epstein-Barr virus. The Epstein-Barr virus that 95% of all adults around the whole entire world have it. But in most people, it is latent. It is just dormant. And it takes all it takes is a certain type of stressor, and it's going to depend on the person to set it off. And in 2021, it was that other virus that set it off. Actually, it was the second time because I'd already had it once. Got really sick from it once back in 2012. But then once I came out of that, I was great clear up until 2021. And ever since then, it's been up and down, up and down, up and down constantly. Like one day I feel like I can barely walk. My whole body hurts. Another day, I feel great. I'm doing my exercise. I'm taking care of my chickens. I might be working in the garden, which, hey, garden season's coming up, guys. It's sunny today. I'd like to get out there and do a little pruning on I've got the energy. I feel good enough. Get out there and start pruning my grapevines and my plum tree. But, oh, so nori, good question. What is nori? Nori is a type of seaweed. However, it's that darker, usually it's a dark green, unlike kelp, which is kind of a medium olive green. And but unlike kelp, it has a far more mild flavor that is a lot more tolerable than kelp. I personally don't like the taste of kelp. I had tried years ago when I made the choice that we're taking ourselves off these thyroid medications and we're going to try to throw everything at it that we can that's natural to help our thyroids heal themselves and work the way they're supposed to. The kelp thing, the only way we could handle it is taking it in capsule form. It's terrible. And I can't take iodine as a supplement. It's very similar to trying to take iron. It makes me very sick. However, in a natural form like in nori, your bodies can handle it better. Especially my body can handle it better. And it's full of so many other minerals that anyway, that just really good for you. So where you are most commonly going to see nori is like if you like sushi. Something like a California roll used to be my favorite. And I'm going to start making those at some point, but just replace the crab obviously with something else. It could be any other kind of fish. It can be any other kind of meat, or it can be meatless. But I loved those things. But yeah, so yeah, that's that dark green thing you typically see wrapped around your sushi, and super, super, super good for you. So, and for those of you just coming in, again, this was just a spur of the moment live. It was totally unplanned. I only came on here to check my equipment to make sure everything was working again, since I haven't set up or done a live show in a long time. T, one thing to understand about sushi, though, a lot of people, when they think sushi, they simply think raw fish. That's actually sushi might have nothing to do with the meat. The sushi is how the rice and the nori and all that part is prepared. And then what's added to it, it could be raw fish. It could be a slice of raw beef. I've seen that before. But it could be pretty much anything else. And so you make a roll out of it. You could do the whole rice thing and um stuff it with it whatever you want. But I'm not even putting rice in it right now. I'm just doing everything else, just trying to get 3 about I'm thinking for me, probably 3 sheets of nori a day is probably good. You don't wanna go too many. They say for adults, 3 to 4 sheets a day is good because you buy them typically in sheets. That's why I say that. They're about that big. Um, and then for pregnant women, they say 4 to 5, and for children, 1 to 2. Because just like anything else, you can get too much. You can, because it is a very good source of iodine, but you can get too much iodine. And so you got to listen to your body. You never heard of the Epstein-Barr virus? What's interesting about that is a lot of people have never heard of the Epstein-Barr virus, but they've heard of mononucleosis, which is a product of the Epstein-Barr virus. That's Epstein-Barr virus causes mononucleosis. They're basically mono is the active Epstein-Barr. Okay. And it was discovered back in the 1960s, mid 1960s. It is I wasn't going to get into this topic, but I'll just cover it real quick. There's no cure, there's no vaccine, like we'd really care about that, but there's no cure. There's nothing you can do about it. So one of the things that bothers me most about this is that 95% of the population over the whole entire world are infected with the Epstein-Barr virus, but they don't know it. You don't hear about it enough. And yet they're finding out with more and more studies coming out that it is linked to many, many, many diseases. Even even the even the cancer, gut issues. Um, it's linked to quite a few things. So it's interesting to me that, oh, this new virus comes along and let's make a big old stink about it and create this jab and that jab and whatever jab, it within just a few months and force you to take this thing, which did nothing, right? Did nothing but make people more sick. And everybody got it anyway. Yet they couldn't do that for the Epstein-Barr virus. Isn't that interesting? So, and nobody, you hardly hear anybody talking. Oh, it's also linked to fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. I started looking this up because I'm like, there has to be a link. There has to be a link to all of these because one of the major, most common side effect is the extreme fatigue throughout your entire body, particularly in the large muscle groups. So, you're in your legs, in your back, and when when this fatigue sets in, you just it's like you can't do anything and suddenly you're winded. I walk out across the street here to pick up my mail. It's like come back in when I'm feeling that fatigue. That was just, you know, earlier, like earlier last week. That was me. Today, it's not in it. But I'm like I said, I'm hoping a lot of it does have to do with some of the changes I'm making, additions that I will cover later. Some, at least one of them, I cannot talk about on YouTube. But it starts with a T. It was the first thing to get me in trouble on my channel. Um, some people can take iodine in a supplement form, but I can't. Not everyone can. A lot of things you got to be careful. And just like with anything else, if you can get it in its natural form, like in nori, kelp, um, other such things, other types of seaweed, that's a really healthy way to get it. So yeah, and they've had mono because they were infected with the Epstein-Barr virus. And in my personal opinion, mono is very inaccurately called the kissing disease because you can get it easier. You can get it easier than that. So anyway, that one, Brenda, is not one I'm trying. Despite what everybody says about it and all the praise and all, it's still a pharmaceutical. I would rather stick with the God-given natural things that are available to us. And that's what I'm doing right now. And so far, these things like the nori, the turkey tail, and this other thing, plus also taking some whole food supplements on top of it. Normally it's like, yeah, I hardly take supplements, but lately because of this constant battle, I've been throwing everything at it that I can, but only in its as natural form as I can, but with the supplements still in a whole food form like the Azure Standard ones have. So I am feeling better again, and hopefully I can stay up here. And the reason I kind of wanted to put off talking about it is because I want to see. I think people need to know, first of all, you need to know that it's very unlikely you're the 5% that has not been infected. And 50% of all children age 5 have been infected. So I just don't know why this isn't talked about more. And to be honest, in my own research on it, how it was discovered by Epstein and Barr, a couple of scientists, obviously, they just so happened to find it on cancer. Hmm, that's interesting. So I have some thoughts on that. I don't think they just happened to find it. I'll just say that much. But the fact that so few people know much about it, yet most everyone has been infected with it. I find just that fact alone really disturbing. So I'm worried that that was a game played to get people to use the Ivor, and then they can say it was never meant for you, no responsibility. I think I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure. So, at any rate, yeah, like I said, I did a video back, I think it was either 2021 or 2022 that's only on Rumble because I figured the topics, because I was talking pretty thoroughly about also the current virus that we were dealing with at that time and the current new scary, ooh, everybody be afraid. But I will say, I'll say this real quick. That particular virus, you can go to medical sites, scientific sites. I'm not talking about conspiracy theory sites. You can go to the scientific, blah, scientific medical sites where they've done the tests, they've done the research, and have indeed found that there is a direct link to an Epstein-Barr virus activation and COVID. So, and what clued me in on that was that once I got COVID, I was, I had it for 3 days. It was a cold, no big deal. But shortly after that, that fatigue settled into my whole body. And that was like, I was thinking, what is this? I haven't experienced this in years. This feels like when I had that activated case of Epstein-Barr virus. What's going on here? And that's when I started going, huh. And, because you remember he kept hearing about long COVID, long COVID. So I started looking stuff up. And sure enough, even then, even several years ago, they were finding people who had long COVID also had an active case of Epstein-Barr virus. So there you go. And they're still talking about it today. You just don't, you have to go look these things up. You have to go look up these places. And it's there. You can find it. It's public information, but they're not going, unless you're actively looking and actively know what to look for, you won't know anything about it because they're not talking about it in the news. And the health people are not talking about it. So it's very disturbing and frustrating, but having a choice to go to God's given healing options is a blessing. Right. Right, T. Absolutely. So, hey, buddy, you're back. Yeah. And you brought your little squishy guy back, too. Here he is again. Little squishy guy. He's so cute. He's so cute and soft and squishy. So, anyway. So, I've already been on here much longer than I planned on being on here because you guys, I'm blaming it on you. You got me talking about topics I had planned on saving. I wasn't going to talk about yet, but I tell you what, when I start talking about this stuff, because it angers me, a lot of it really angers me. And because it is stuff I'm dealing with, and because it's stuff that I've been researching. And it's really hard when people are like, "Oh, you got a cold again? How is it you're getting sick if you're so healthy?" It's like, well, you know what? We live in a broken, corrupt world that's full of all kinds of toxins and things that we cannot control. No matter how strong and healthy your body is, no matter how strong your immune system is, any one of these things can destroy that. And you can do the best you can, and you can help get yourself out of it, and you can help prevent it, or at least make it so it's not so bad. But there's certain things you just have no control over. So when people start getting all judgmental about stuff like that, they need to watch themselves. Because here's another thing I've learned, well, through experience and from watching other people. The way you judge others, that's going to come back on you. So, because I used to be the same way. Oh, well, maybe if you were more like this or more like that, you would never get sick either. Well, guess what? Life has a way of teaching us some pretty serious lessons and some hard lessons that can be very humbling. And I tell you, I still do everything I can to be as healthy as I can. I'm still off the thyroid medication that it's been 14 years now. Well, it'll be 14 years like in May ish. So, and same with Patrick. And I'm still doing everything I can. And so, yeah, we're going to keep, this was the thing that got me into wanting to grow my own herbs and starting a garden was because I wanted to at least have somewhat better control over what I was putting into my body as best as I can. And I want to teach these guys, these very important grandbabies of mine to do the same. And you know what? I'm also not afraid of organic sugar and honey and things like that. A lot of people are taught to be afraid of it. But the thing is, everything should be done in balance. Cut out what you need to cut out for you, but don't judge others because they're following a different diet plan than you. Because everybody's got to find out what's going to work best for them. So I don't mind making some snacks for me and the grandbabies because I'm not going to say, oh, I'm just making these Rice Krispie treats for the grandbabies. No, I'm making them for me too because I hadn't had them in years. And I'm thinking, this sounds really good. I want to try it with some healthier ingredients and see if I can pull it off. And yeah, this one won't even try the Rice Krispie treats, but Jax and Rowan love them. So, and it's certainly not something I'm going to make every single day. Good gravy, people, just like the ice cream. Yes, we love ice cream, but we hardly ever would buy ice cream. But every now and then, you're just like, man, I'd really like some ice cream, especially when I'm getting back into making the caramel sauce so that I could make sure so I can be able to shoot a video on that because I've been thinking for years, I need to do a video on making caramel sauce. I've got the chocolate sauce recipe. But now that I got the caramel sauce, I need ice cream to go with it. I need to start getting back into ice cream making again because I can put into it exactly what I want to put into it and make it as healthy as it can be instead of all the garbage they put in it in the store. And it costs about the same amount of money unless you got your own dairy animals that you can get whole cream from. But yeah, so look at me, Deb. Look at me. What was I just saying? And then here I am. But I can't stay for too much longer. The other two babies are going to be showing up, and it's going to get insane. This one here, that's coming in and out, he's a little more. He's pretty quiet when it's just him most of the time. But when the three of them are here. Oh, and then now Thursdays, every other Thursday, because Jax has swimming lessons. Now I'm watching Rowan and Kyra. So my youngest grandbaby, and she's a little chunk-o-matic. She's almost as big as her sister because Rowan is super, super tiny. She's just a itty bitty thing with a massive attitude. And then I think Kyra's probably gonna be a little sweet one, but she's definitely much bigger than sister. I think she's bigger than Jax was too. She's a chunk-o-matic, but she's a healthy baby. So anyway, so I get to watch her now on Thursdays for a little bit. So I'm glad because now I can kind of start building that bond with her too. And also see that Jace be able to build a bond with her because he's just totally enthralled with her. He thinks she's just, you can tell he just gets down, he looks at her and he's got to touch her. And I wish I would have got the picture the other day where Kyra was reaching up with her hand on Jace's cheek and they were smiling at each other. Oh my goodness, it was so adorable. Kyra is 6 months old right now. She's coming up on 7 months. So I don't have any opinions on the bee propolis because I've heard of it. I've never used it, never looked into it. So there's just a billion things out there. And, I don't know it all about everything because I'm always learning something new all the time. Just like the nori, I'm all excited about shooting that video because I'm like, I've known nori's been a good healthy thing, and that's why I had a stash of it that I forgot I had. But then looking into it again, I'm like, wow, this really is loaded with more than just iodine. I mean, it's some good stuff. But it's only one of the many things. If you hate nori, I'm sure there's many other things. So one of the things I was gonna say about the nori that I've already done is mixing it in with my greens so that it will go into pretty much every meal I make, at least in that way. So I just made a tamale pie yesterday and sprinkled that greens in there, and it had the nori and the nettle and the dandelion leaves, which nettle and dandelion leaves are also just loaded with nutrients. And the I don't know if dandelion I would say dandelion and nettle are pretty on par with each other as far as nutrients, but they're still going to have their variances, right? And nettle and dandelion leaves are weeds. Not everybody has an ocean to harvest nori from or in their backyard, right? But most everybody can grow at least dandelion. If you start nowhere else, start with at least dandelion and plantain because these are considered weeds and you can get plenty of them. And they're both loaded with nutrients. And then in especially places like here, nettle grows like a weed. So, see, I need to learn how to make both chocolate and caramel. Oh, so I do have a video on my main channel on the chocolate syrup. It's an older video. I did it a long time, quite a while back. And then the caramel one will be coming out in the near future. So it's still a lot of sugar, but at least they're using organic sugar. You can use honey. I don't know about the caramel, about using the honey because it wouldn't be the same thing. Because what makes caramel is the caramelizing of the cane sugar. So I use organic cane sugar when I'm doing that. And if you're making butterscotch, you're caramelizing brown sugar and butter, and you don't add any dairy to it. That's the main thing. Where with caramel, you've got the cane sugar that's not, it might have a little bit of molasses in it, but it's not brown sugar. And you've got the butter, and then you've got the heavy cream. And then usually with butterscotch, people will add the vanilla extract. Now, I tried adding the vanilla extract to the caramel, and I love vanilla extract in almost anything sweet, but when I tried it in the caramel, it was still really good, but um, it just seemed like it robbed a little bit of the caramel flavor. I don't know how else to explain it, and I just love the taste of caramel. So anyway, yeah, just mostly a lot of the times when I start playing around with stuff like this, it's so that it's either for the sake of my grandbabies, wanting to make them at least a healthier treat, or because I wanna do videos on this stuff to show you guys how to do it and how simple it is if you wanna do your own and at least have some healthier ingredients that doesn't have a whole bunch of preservatives and nasty additives or, um, genetically modified beet sugar, whatever. So, I did try doing the butterscotch, but I don't know what went wrong. It didn't turn out right. I just did all I did was brown sugar, organic brown sugar, and the organic butter, and it just I don't know what, maybe I had the heat too high that day. It still turned out good, but it was ended up being more just like caramel again, even without adding the whipping cream to it. Anyway, I really should go. I've been on here longer than I had planned, and I think Jace is starting to get a little antsy, so he probably needs some attention. So yeah, this was my brief 5 minute. I want to check my equipment to make sure it works, and I've been on here 10 times that long. But anyway, with all that said, I will try to keep you guys updated on what is going to work for me. I'm really hoping Fridays is going to work out where I can do more regular live shows. I'm not going to say I'll do them every week, but maybe at the very least once a month, and hopefully a little more than that if things work out good for us. So, anyway, thanks for being here for my sound check, my light check, my video check, etc. And for me to just babble and ramble about whatever I felt like rambling about because it came up. So love you all. Looking forward to having some more fun times again and harassing Tammy and having Tyler come in and harass us every now and then. And hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. Love ya. Bye. Say bye, Jace. Bye. Oh.